Alright, so when you do a green, first thing that you're going to want to do is look left and up. So you'll see here, green pops, I'm an orb now, immediately I look left. And all that is camera rotation. You can actually see it over here on the mouse, on the right side there. So now that we've rotated left, what we want to do is we specifically want to rotate left and line up our vision either in the center or in enough of a peripheral that we're aware of where it is. We need to be lined up with this green that's 2 positions to the left of where we are. So 1, 2. That's going to be where the big comes from every time. No matter where your green is, it's always to the left of you. Everything else is random. The mediums are random. The small orbs are all random. The only consistency is that over here, the throne is never going to have any orbs coming from it. So you can, depending on which green you're on, you can account for that by not going there when you're trying to pick up more small orbs. So now that we've looked left, we have that green in our periphery. The next thing we want to do is look up. So we look up. We're going to actually see mediums and bigs that are up here, but they're going to be pretty close to the center while we're still rising, right? So this guy right here, we're not getting him. We don't care about that. We know that this line, more or less, is where that green is that we just paid attention to, and that's where the big's going to come from. So if we fast forward a little bit here, there's our big. So the big is this guy right here. So now we've got our big. Depending on how fast you are, you can immediately pick out your path right now. You have your big. You have 5 other small orbs right here. So there's all your orbs if your movement is good enough. If it's not, you have small orbs here. You have small orbs here. And you can see that, like, some of these, like these 2, are pretty close to the zapper. You don't want to risk those. But the idea is, where there's a cluster of orbs, at least some of them are going to be available by the time you get over there. And you can see here, when I play, first of all, I'm always moving. As soon as the green pops, you'll see my W key is held down, and I'm just moving towards that big. Now, I personally like to get a couple small orbs before the big, because it saves me time once I have the big. This is feasible if they're on the way, but you want to make sure that you don't get too many, especially because sometimes you accidentally collect 2 when you mean to collect 1, and then suddenly you've gotten 5 small orbs and you didn't get the big, and you potentially wiped your team. So here, I'm going to grab a couple small ones, or just 1. Looks like... Okay, so I grabbed 2. I tried to grab 3 and 4 there and be spicy, but I missed. And that's because of the hitbox, which we'll talk about in a second. So here, I have 2. I grab the big. And you see the Reaper die. This is because I'm soloing. That doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with the green. So I've grabbed my big. I grabbed number 4 and number 5. And all I did was I kept moving. You can see if we rewind a bit, I actually stop moving when I'm grabbing an orb. So you see I'm moving and then I stop, I'm moving and then I stop. You see the W stopped. So I get to the big, I stop for a second. I'm trying to line up the hitbox of where my orb actually is with where that orb actually is. And essentially, I'm going to try to explain this. So your hitbox is behind slightly the last direction that you moved from. So I was moving forward, so I'm moving this way. My ping is about 30. I checked it during this recording. So my hitbox is going to be just slightly behind the center of my orb. This is the center, right? So my actual hitbox is like here-ish, right? So that, combined with the fact that all the orbs, because they're server side, are also a little bit behind. They're all moving directly towards the bug zapper, right? So this big orb is going in this direction. So the hitbox of the big orb is somewhere in here. Well, that's generous. It's usually somewhere about here. So what I did was I took my butt. I always call this the butt of the orb, which is this guy. We'll draw a nice little juicy butt. All right, this is your orb butt. Okay, so you take your orb butt and you move your orb butt. Oh, is that actually? Oh, it's centered. All right, let's do that. So let's draw our orb butt, and it's actually gonna stay there. So here's our orb butt. Okay, that's amazing. That's balls. Let's not do balls. Okay, that's our orb butt, more or less. So what I'm going to try to do here, well, let me get rid of this other stuff. This is cool. Can you guys tell that I'm new to video editing? I would never have known if I hadn't said anything, right? Okay, so that's that arrow we'll leave there because that's to show the direction of the big once our camera's in position. So we have our orb butt, okay? We get the small. We get the other small. And you'll see as the butt crosses a little bit behind where the orbs were coming from, that's when the orb gets collected. So there, we missed. We were too far behind this little guy right here. And we were too far in front of the other one. So we play, we get real close, and we kind of sweep by the back of it, and that's how we get that orb. And then the other small orbs are the same deal, right? So you're trying to swipe your butt through, depending on your ping, the center of the orb you're trying to collect, or just behind the center. And behind, in this case, means the direction that the orb came from. So, because they're all moving towards the bug zapper. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, you'll see. So we're going to get rid of this arrow here, and we're going to watch a whole bunch more greens, and we're going to talk about them. But that's kind of your process. You are moving, you're gunning it for the big, but you're also paying attention to what's there as you rise, because you can't do anything except move forward while you're going up, so you might as well take in all the information you can. So we're going to play. That's a good green, right? We passed, we got down to the ground, we wiped because this is solo, and that's what happens when you get done with the green. Alright, so we go up here, we looked left, we see some small orbs over here. I'm going to use a pencil so it's a little bit clearer. There we go. Some small orbs over here, we see a couple small orbs over here. So this is like squarish, this is like spiral, right? Spiral triangles like this direction. We don't care about that. And we're accounting for all of this, especially the ones that are closer to the bug zapper, because it's very fast to move around the bug zapper, because you don't have to go all the way around here. You can just go boop, and then boop, right around the bug zapper, and you're done. Let's see if our butt stays consistent. That'll be really cool between footage. So here we see some small orbs, right? We're kind of getting an idea of where we gotta go. And notice what I'm doing with my camera here too, because the game is annoying and fakes you out and puts orbs up above you, like the one that's like up here. I like to either do kind of an angle down or straight down, depending on how I'm feeling, to get a better idea personally of which orbs are actually on the same like horizontal plane that I'm on, because you can't collect any others. So let's hit play. So here we go. That's our big, right? We've got our big right here. We've identified it as soon as it appeared, and we see all these other orbs that we can collect. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These guys are risky because we have to move, and they're going to move into the zapper. So we're probably not going to get those, especially because we don't want to miss the big. So I go towards a safe small orb, right? We're not getting too risky. We're not going towards the zapper. We have orbs that we can get. There's going to be more orbs that spawn on the outside in an absolute worst case scenario, okay? Here's the orb butt. You'll see here, I have crossed the small orb and not collected it because my hitbox is my butt. I'm now just behind the small orb, so you're going to see this pop in a second. There it goes, right? And you can see I kind of turned, and the reason that I turned is I'm trying to like I'm turning towards the big, right? But that's not why I turned then. I turned then because I'm trying to sort of sweep my butt this way so that no matter where the actual real hitbox of the orb is, my butt will cross it. And you can also achieve this by just going like through the orb from the bug zapper, from the center, in a straight line, because you're crossing its entire path if you do it that way. I do sweeps because it saves me time on turns. You get used to it. But yeah, so watch again. You're gonna see me. I get there, I turn, my butt sweeps just behind the orb, so you can see the approximate distance of where the orb was like, the orb was actually about here. So that sweep is what got me that orb. Alright, so we have the small. Now we go for the big. We're going to do kind of a similar process. And you can see I sweep, right? I'm trying to pass it and then turn. So my butt has passed it, I'm turning. Did I get it? Yes. Alright, cool. Sometimes you don't, and we'll talk about that. There's going to be other greens where you don't. So now there's 2, 3, 4. Like, real quick, you saw, you know, as soon as I turned and looked towards where I saw those other orbs, that's really important, right? I was going up, I saw where there were orbs, I got the big, I turned towards that direction, because I know that usually the RNG is going to put the clusters around the same directions. So I turn towards these other orbs, I go for them, I see 2, I'm like, cool, that's all I need, so I grab those, we're done. I grab those, I grab that guy. And you can see here I get kind of close to the zapper, right? But I know from experience that, like, the zapper's a bit weird. It does account for your butt, so if I had moved just a teensy bit closer, if that red gets on that zapper, I die. But you can see I tapped the orb and got teleported down without moving further to the right, so I didn't get zapped. We'll see more of that as we go on. So here's another one. We look left, we look up. We see orbs, okay? We take this in. The biggest cluster of orbs, as you can see, is right here. This big old thing. And we got stuff over here. That's where most of the orbs are. There's a few over here. And you'll kind of get a better idea, too, as you get level and the big becomes visible. So let me get rid of these circles here. And we're going to play. The big is now visible. And we can see there's actually a lot more orbs to our left, too, that we couldn't really see before. So there's actually 5 orbs right here. I didn't circle them properly. 5 orbs. There we go. So we have our entire green right there. We can do the whole green right here. And I don't remember if I do that. I deliberately made greens harder than they needed to be when I recorded this footage, just to show you how much mistakes you can make and still do things successfully as long as you keep moving and use your eyes, basically. So I'm going to go here. I deliberately go past the big and through it for small orbs because I wanted to show some zapper tech here. Right, we're getting kind of close, but we're not moving to the right. Look at the movement keys. We don't touch D at all. We just go forward because we know that the bright light is the only actual threat. So we get that orb, we get another one, and then we go towards the big. We grab the big, and now we have 4 small orbs right in front of us. Let's see if I can actually catch it. Yeah, here we go. 5 small orbs. So this is free, right? And sometimes the RNG is really nice like this. You know, it didn't look super free when we were going up, but it's actually like, that's your green once you have the big. So we're just going to run through those. We're going to be done. Easy peasy. Okay? Let's get rid of the circle. Here's another green. That's the whole green. We're done. Right? I might make this one more complicated. We'll see. But, like, there's 7 orbs on the screen right now. And all of them are far enough away from the zapper that we can just collect them by moving around. So we'll play. Let's see what I do. So I go forward. I grab a small. I actually miss a small. And it doesn't matter because there's so many other orbs that it's safe. So I grab 1. I grab 2. At this point, I turned for the big because I don't want to risk, because this happened to me like 3 times the other day, I don't want to risk that there's stacked orbs. And I've actually picked up 3 or 4 orbs and I don't know it. Technically, I can know it if I look at my screen and I look down here, this little box right here, right? This is, let's circle it and show it. So this little guy that says 2, that's how many orbs you've collected. But the amount of time that it takes you to look down at your bar and check how many orbs you have is going to waste at least 1 to 2 seconds, and you're better off just winging it, at least in my experience. Similarly, this is your timer until you die and fail your green. Never look at that. First of all, it's anxiety-inducing. Second of all, what does that do for you? How does that help you, right? There are always orbs available without you checking your timer. You just have to use your eyes and push your movement keys, basically. So we're going to grab the small, we're going to grab the big, and then here I deliberately go away from all those orbs, I think. Maybe I turn around, let's see. Okay, so I turn around and I'm doing some zapper stuff. I know that they're approaching the zapper, so I'm just going to move closer to the zapper, and I'm going to sweep my butt into 1, 2, and 3, right? And there was like, if we back up, there was like 7 orbs. So if I missed even 2 or 3 of those, I'm fine. So like if I missed those 2, there were 3 more orbs immediately in my vicinity, and let's see how much time I had left to collect those. If we look at our timer, right? So let's say I missed those 2, and I get to this 3rd one, I have 6 seconds to collect 3 orbs that are all like really close to each other. That's super easy, right? And again, I'm not trying to make this demeaning or trivialize it or anything. This obviously takes a lot of practice. It takes getting used to. But I just want to show you like how much freedom and forgiveness the mechanic actually gives you when you understand how to really capitalize on it. So that green's done. Let's do another one. Which one is this? Okay, so again, we have a whole big cluster of orbs over by, let me get rid of this little circle down here just because it's distracting. We have a whole big circle of orbs down by square, right? This is square. So, here's this Mina, that's square, stars over here, you know, you get it. You know the arena, you're doing Doom CM. So, this is your big. All of your other stuff's over here. Now, we can grab these if we want to. We can grab this if we want to. But if we want to be super safe, we would just grab the big and then gun it through these, and we're done. Worst case, we miss a whole bunch of them, and we either turn around and grab this one, and these 2, and this one, or we use our eyes once we round this corner, and we see if there's any over by like spiral and triangle. So let's see what we do. So, oh, I left one circle. There we go. So we run over here, we get a small, we get a big, we miss the big, right? That's something I actually really wanted to highlight. So we go over here, we miss the big completely. I didn't sweep my butt correctly. So I actually have to turn around, and I take my butt, and I go again into just behind the orb from where it's coming from. And that's when I get it, right? So we wasted probably 2 seconds there. I could go back and count it. You can count it if you want to pause. It was probably 2 seconds. That's fine, right? We've now turned around, and now we check. So we can now see triangle. So we have these guys. And we have this guy. And we have this guy. So that's like 7 orbs. This one that you can barely see is also an option before it gets to the zapper. This is too close, and that's the only one that's too close right now. But yeah, so we see a bunch of orbs over here to the left. We had to turn around, so we're like, okay, we'll go that way. Again, if we sweep by the bug zapper and we don't, you know, run all the way around the outside, we have so much time. So you grab this. We grab this. We're actually in a pretty sparse area, right? We only have one other orb, and it's like over here. So I don't know if I go for that. I can. I still have 6 seconds if you look on the bar, and I only need one more orb. So maybe I don't even go for that. I actually, this orb's probably it. Yeah, cool. There's our green, right? There were a bunch of options. We had 6 more seconds to go. We could have gone left, we could have gone right, we could have turned around, we could have looked around, and our movement is fast enough that it works out. There's a couple bad RNG ones in here, you know, quote unquote bad RNG that I want to show just to kind of highlight like you still have options. This one's not amazing. And I say that because if you're not fast enough, you're not going to get your green on the left here, and also it's a bit risky because if you go for all 4 of those small orbs, these guys right here, you potentially could finish your green before you get the big, and you don't want to risk that. So again, probably best to like go for these 2 or these 2, grab your big, and then go elsewhere. These are going to be gone, this is going to be gone, but you can see there's 2 over here, there's 2 over here, there's probably more coming from both those directions, there's probably more over this way. So, you know, the point of this footage was supposed to be showing getting close to the bug zapper and totally winging it and doing some really unwise things and making mistakes to show that you can still recover from them and do them successfully. I failed 2 greens while recording this footage out of all of the ones that I'm showing you. One of them, I touched the bug zapper because my butt got too close because I, frankly, was riskier than I should have been. And then the other one failed because my stealth on the Reapers was incorrect, and I would have actually finished that green. So I think I might have included that footage. Let's see. So, alright, so we see the 2. We did a downward camera there, specifically because I saw that there's these big clusters and I don't want to over-collect and miss the big. So we rotated our camera down. We see we got 1. I assume I got 2. If you look at the counter, I got 1, but I didn't know that in the moment, and I didn't want to risk it, right? So I grabbed that 1, I grabbed these 2, and I go around. I deliberately avoided, where is my pencil? I deliberately avoided this guy because I knew that I might have 4 orbs, and I didn't want to risk getting a 5th before I touched the big. So we have, in my brain, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I saw that 1 and I immediately backed off of it, right? I stopped, you can see I tapped S there to get out of the way of it, and then moved forward through the empty space, went around the little one, and then collected the big. And sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to be a little careful, right? Similarly, you're going to want to do that a lot to avoid medium orbs. You never want to pick up a medium orb unless you're past the first grader, or you're G3 and you're doing the spiral green, in which case you should really try to get that medium, because if you get that medium, there's no messenger during the grader, and that's amazing. So yeah, fairly straightforward one, just showing how to kind of be careful and make sure that you get your big, right? Let's see what this one is. We go up. This sucks, right? We go up, we look at this, and we go, wow, there's like no orbs up here. But okay, give it 2 seconds. Still not great. I see 6 orbs. All of them are collectible. All of them are far enough away from the zapper that I can get them. So, we have our green, right? Worst case, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can, there's options here, right? But we can still make it work. And usually, almost every time, when this is what's on your camera and your screen, if you turn around, there's way more orbs. So let's see if we experience that. So I go up, I get 1, because I know that, worst case it's sparse, right? So I get the 1. I go for the big. I deliberately go for the big because I trust, again, I'm trying to show risky strategies. I trust that there's more orbs if I rotate my camera around. And hey, look at that. There's like 4 more orbs now, right? We saw these 2, or maybe even just this 1. But now suddenly we've got these 3 guys, we've got these 3 guys, we've got these 2. These 2 are probably not risky, or not safe, rather. We've got these 2 coming in from afar. So like, it's almost a guarantee. In my experience, it's basically a guarantee that if you don't see anything in front of you, they're all behind you, or the bulk of them are behind you, because the game is spawning a certain number of deathlings per second or per minute or whatever, and so it's never going to deprive you of orbs across the board. It's just going to have them in different places. So here, you know, at this point, I'm looking, I've gotten my big, and I'm like, wow, there's like 7 orbs, so whatever, I'll just wing it, okay? I swing by the bug zapper, I didn't even have to. I could have gone around the outside. You saw the Reaper died there. Again, that's just the stealth thing. If you see the character touch the ground, and they're not dead, they made it out. So this green, same deal, we rotate left. This kind of sucks, because we see that all these orbs, all these little guys are going into the center. That can be discouraging, but again, remember, there is always orbs. There's always a certain number of orbs spawning every second that are going to be available somewhere on the map. So we trust, right? We get up higher, we get a little bit of a clearer picture. We actually have our whole green in front of us if we want to do a bit of a wonky path. I wouldn't, because this guy means that you have to go like way over here and then sweep back, or you have to go like this, and like none of that's great. None of that is efficient. So I'm guessing, unless again I was trying to show off how much time you have, I probably skipped that far left guy. So yeah, so I skipped the far left. So I go for the smalls, and then I see, oh, as soon as I collected the smalls, I just want to play that. So I see the smalls, I go for them, and as soon as I'm collecting them, I can see 4 more orbs that just spawned, and they're all pretty safe. So we have this guy, we have, that might be an orb, we'll see. We have this guy, we have these guys, and this guy. So like, I have options now. I need to get my big, right? So we're obviously going to go left. But yeah, so we get the small one, and I see the orbs in front of me. I'm like, okay, I'll get one more small because I know I've only gotten 2. I get the small, that's 3, and I'm going to get my big, and maybe I'll get the small on the way. If I do, great. If I don't, that's fine. There's, you know, these, and these, and these, and this. You know, you have options. So I got the small. So we got the big, we got the small, we're done. How much time did we have left to collect those others if we had made the mistake? Let's see, we'll just play the whole thing. Seeking in this is a bit annoying. So we get that, we get that, we get that. There's our big, okay. Currently timer shows 8 seconds. 7 seconds. So we had 7 more seconds to collect whatever we wanted. Which, by the way, the amount of time that you actually have on the same level as the balls is 11 seconds. So we still had most of our actual time. That's an easy one, right? Calm, easy. You can watch my movement on the keyboard. I stopped and waited for the orbs because I could see the whole green in front of me. There was no reason to rush or keep moving or try to do fancy curve stuff. I just grabbed the orbs, took it safe, played it safe, you know. So here's a good example. This is quote unquote bad RNG, right? We get here, there's a big, and there's like nothing else around it. And in our camera right now, this sucks. But on the way up, if we back up a little bit, let's back up a little bit. On the way up, we saw that there's 5 bajillion orbs over here. So we know that they exist. We also know they exist because we understand that orbs exist no matter what. But yeah, so go up. Let's see. We grab our big. And then we gun it for where the small ones. Now you can see here, I missed the big, right? So I turn around, I try to do the sweep again, and this sucks because a lot of the orbs that we saw at first, all these little guys, are in the zapper now. We can't get them anymore. But you do what you have to. You have to get that big, right? So we get the big, and then when we see it pop, we kind of have to assess our situation because now we have a totally new situation. So what do we see here? We see 2 here, we see like 4 here, we see a whole bunch here that are right in the zapper. We're not going to go for those. We might try to do a little butt sweep on this guy, but, you know, not ideal. These guys are safe. These are safe. These are safe. That's 6. 7, 8. You know, these are all a nice safe distance from the zapper. Alright, so it was not the zapper death. So yeah, picking back up. We grab this big. And we go close. And we see there's a whole bunch of orbs. A lot of them are about to go in the zapper, so we're mainly going to try and look at the ones that are not about to go in the zapper. The ones that are close enough that you can risk it for the biscuit are these, which I do, because I'm comfortable enough to not get zapped here. Do not do this if you don't have to, and you almost never have to. I just like doing greens faster because once you're comfortable, it is safer because you have fallback plans if you miss or if ping screws you or frame rate drops or whatever. So I go for these. If you're newer or you're still getting comfy, probably don't. So yeah, I get that one, and you can see the butt touched it, and the distance between it and the zapper and me and the zapper is like fucking that. Don't do that if you can help it. But I know that, if you look at my movement keys, yeah, here's the big, right? I line myself up. I know exactly where the zapper is. I move myself to the right just enough, and then I do not press the right button. I don't rotate my camera right. I just hold forward, and I know that because I'm not rotating right or moving right, I can't touch the zapper. The zapper does not pull you. Now here, this is a good one actually. I deliberately take longer on the screen because I don't want to collect the medium. So we have the 1 small, we have the 2 small, we have the 3, we miss, no, okay, we got that one. Now you can see this is a medium right here. Right there. We don't want that. And it doesn't really look that medium right now, but if you look at the footage, here's the big, here's the little guys. You can see it's bigger, right? We don't want that guy. That guy will screw up our kiter or wipe our group on a lot of the early greens. So, if we were the tank, G3, we would grab that. If this was spiral, absolutely grab that. If it's not spiral, don't grab it, but yeah. So we grab these, we turn, we avoid the medium, and we get another small. Makes sense? Cool. Oh, also, yeah, time. Let's look at time here. Just because I want to show. We avoided the medium and got another small, and we still had 3 seconds. Which, like, 3 seconds doesn't feel like a lot, but that's like a fifth of the time that you have in the green. 1, 2, avoid the medium. 3, go for random small ones. I went for ones on the outskirts because I wanted to take more time, even though there was, riskier, faster options. Alright? This one's kind of normal. Little bit sparse on the left, but good enough. We're probably going to get the small, go left, get the small, yep, get the big, and then we go right for fun. We could have gone left and been super safe and super fast, right? We had 2 small ones there. Just to our left. These guys right here. Easy peasy. I wanted to waste more time because the timer still has 8 seconds on it. Which I'm not counting, by the way, during the actual greens. I just have a feel for it. So I went, okay, let's see what else we can find. And you can see it's kind of sparse in front of us, but we go for it anyway. We know we have 3 orbs that we've gotten already. So we just need 2. We get 1. Oh, look, there's 3 orbs that we can collect. 1 is risky, 2 are completely safe to our left. So we go left because we want to be safe. Easy peasy. We still had like 5 seconds left. This is a very, very safe green. This is like, if you're not used to Zapper Tech, do this. Fucking do this every time. Alright, you go up. You see the one close to the Zapper? It looks spicy. Nah, never mind. Forget about that, alright? There's 5 orbs in front of us right now. 1 small directly in front of us. Another small to the left of it. We get that one. We get the big one. And then we have 4 small orbs that are all in a little triangles, nicely arranged, that we can collect in here in case we make mistakes. And we still have more than half the time that we went up with. And there, by the way, I deliberately avoided the ones on the left here because I wanted to show medium collection on a couple of these. So one of them I died. I don't remember if I kept the clip. I got the medium and then I died at the zapper, or the Reaper died or something. But yeah, this one, right? We get the smalls, we get the big, and here we could finish the green with the smalls, but I wanted the medium. So I had seen the medium earlier. I turned back to the right. I deliberately go small, medium, and now we have gotten the medium, assuming that was spiral green. The best time to find the medium is right now, or right now. And you have to do, you know, funny camera stuff for that, right? That other one, the RNG was good enough that it was in my peripheral, like, as I was going for the big. At this point, as I've rotated, I can see the medium right now. Is right here. So if I want it, I can go for it. The big is behind me, and I missed it, which sucks. So I turn around, I grabbed a small, just intuitively, after going through the big. I meant to go big small. I went small first because it's a mistake. So we grabbed the big. We missed again. Was that a zap? Oh no, that was the one with the Reaper dying. Okay, so this I wanted to show because it's a good big miss. Alright, so here's that clip again. So yeah, so we were trying to show a big miss and a medium. The Reaper's dead. We're not going to actually have the full green length, but you can see here, I missed the big, I turned around and grabbed the small by accident. I grabbed the big, I miss it again, and grab a different small. But the important thing there is that if we look at the time, when we grab this big, we still have 8 seconds. We have a small orb and another small orb so far, so we need 3 more orbs. There's a big in front of us, there's a medium behind us, which we're going for in this case, and there's like 3 other smalls that are super safe. So we turn around here, and you can actually see, had this Reaper not died, right, had this green lasted the normal amount of time, which is another 7 seconds, we have 1 if we're risky, medium for sure, and 3 super safe small orbs. Didn't catch that one, but yeah. And then there's this guy over here as well, if we want to spend more time, if we like make a mistake or something. There's this guy that's probably safe by the time we get over there, depending on the path we take. That's the only clip I included where we didn't actually succeed the green because of the Reaper dying. Alright, so we got 1 small, we got 1 big. Again, this is showing A, avoiding the medium, and B, you know, quote-unquote bad RNG. There's like nothing here. There's nothing in this whole zone, and this sucks if you don't look around and, you know, understand, right? So we're going to avoid this medium, I think. Pretty sure we avoid the medium here. We've gotten the big. This is an example of the camera turn that you should do when you're like, oh shit, no orbs. Cool. We turned. I hit the wrong button. Let's see if we can get back there. It's like here. Yeah. Alright, cool. So, again, we get the 1 small. You don't have to do that. We get the 1 big. We have turned the camera. There are now 6 orbs in front of us. We have 4 here. We have maybe this guy. I can't tell if he's on a different plane with the freeze frame, but, you know, there's 1 here if I remember correctly. There's 2 over here. Like, you have a lot of options here. Let's play, see if we can get a better read. Okay, yeah, so the 1 was up high. So it's actually... Yeah, so it's 7 orbs. So you have these 4. Not counting this guy. This guy's up high. You have these 2. And you have this one. And they're all, like, mega safe. And you already have 2 orbs. And you got the big. And you have 7 seconds to collect these. It's... All you have to do is turn. This one's real simple. Let's see if I make it complicated on purpose, but this might have just been like, hey, here's what you do when you get good RNG. Okay, so we got good RNG and we missed, which will happen. So we got a small, and then another small, and then the big, but we missed the other two trying to sweep them. So we just turn around and we grab them. Easy peasy. Again, quote unquote bad RNG. We have big. We have maybe an orb here. I don't think I even registered that as an orb when I was playing this. So we have the big there, we have the small here, and then we're just going to go this way because we know the orbs are that way. We may go this way for fun. Let's see. Alright, it was not an orb. It's a fucking reflection. Doing freeze frames in the game totally changes how things look. So, alright, so we grab our big, we turn right because we know the orbs are behind us. So we almost 180'd our camera, and we're just kind of taking in the information here. And we go, okay, that's where the orbs are. They're to our left. They're, you know, star spiral area. So, just to show, if we wanted a medium, is right here. If we don't want a medium, you have fucking... Alright, let's actually look at safe ones. These are safe. This is safe if you're fast. This is safe. These are super safe. This is super safe. This is super safe. This is super safe. So all of those are options, and you already have the big. And you have 9 seconds, which is, again, 9 out of the 11 seconds that you have on the same level as the orbs. Because all you did was rush the big. That's why moving towards the big as you're going up is so helpful and important. So alright, we got a small close to the zapper. This is again going to be an example of turning around because there's almost nothing in front of us right now. So we're going to grab our big, we're going to turn right, we're going to miss the big a little bit, but we get it. We get those, and we get that. If we wanted the medium, we could have made a teensy adjustment, right? It was to our left, we saw it when we turned, so we could have just, instead of going forward here, we just go left and then forward and get that medium. I think that's all I got. Yep. Hopefully this helps.